Brrrr, nigga, and it's like that, motherfuckers. We back with another episode of Survival Time. I'm your host, Quantic Cash. We finna get into the movie Dead Presidents. So we finna kind of get into the real story of it. From what I know, it's based on a book from a nigga who had PTSD from being in the army, and he wrote a situation and all that shit that he had been through about his life and shit after the army. So we gonna get into it. They said the Hughes brothers basically based the movie on his book.
Now you gonna play this Marine War hero. What you got when you get back here, huh?
I too was a Marine, and I served my country proudly in World War II, a real war. These cutting words from a judge echo through the climax of 1995's Dead Presidents, delivering one of cinema's most brutal gut punches about how America treated its Black Vietnam veterans. But what most viewers missed was that this devastating speech wasn't Hollywood fiction. It was adapted almost word for word from an actual 1972 court transcript. Welcome to Prime Time Throwback, where today we're uncovering the shocking true story behind one of the most misunderstood crime films of the 90s, the Hughes brothers' gritty portrait of a Black Marine's descent from Vietnam, horror to post-war desperation. What if I told you this film was never supposed to be about a bank heist at all? The real Anthony Curtis. While most viewers assumed Dead Presidents was pure fiction, Lawrence Tate's character, Anthony Curtis, was heavily based on a real Vietnam veteran named Haywood T. Kirkland, who later became known as Sekou Odinga. The film's most shocking moments, from the trauma in Vietnam to the desperate bank robbery, were pulled directly from Kirkland's actual life experiences. The Hughes brothers, fresh off their breakout success with Menace II Society, originally intended to make a very different film. Their initial vision wasn't focused on the heist at all, but exclusively on the African-American Vietnam experience, inspired by Wallace Terry's book Bloods, An Oral History of the Vietnam War by Black Veterans.
I fucking told y'all. I'm only gonna really pause to say this. One thing about that movie, because I did watch the fucking movie, is that like that shit is true, and that's one of the main reasons why Black men are not real quick to enlist when it comes to the army and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like it's not like that no more. But yeah, this is how Black men was treated back then, which was actually bogus as fuck. As far as like fighting for the country, and even for like a judge to say some shit like that to him, and like really figuring and feeling like they got the same shot at the same titles and shit like that. When Black men come back home from the army, they not coming back to certain shit that white men might come back to. Even if they are coming from broken homes, they coming from different types of broken homes. You see what I'm saying?
We wanted to make our generation's apocalypse now, but focused entirely on the Black experience in Vietnam. Alan Hughes explained in a 1996 interview, "When we discovered Kirkland's full story, how he came home to nothing and turned to armed robbery, we realized this was about two wars, Vietnam and the war at home. The masks behind the masks. Remember those haunting white face masks worn during the heist? They weren't just a cinematic choice for shock value. The Hughes brothers designed these masks as a direct homage to Black liberation movements of the late 60s and early 70s. This visual metaphor carried a double meaning, forcing white America to literally see itself in these desperate criminal acts, while commenting on how Black veterans had to wear masks to survive in a society that discarded them after service." What's your interpretation of the white masks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
I ain't think about that. That's actually pretty deep. So they basically was white facing themselves. So basically the depth of the movie got a little bit more to the story when it come to that then. That's deep. So basically what we looking at here this whole time without noticing is that they was basically mirroring the reflection of white people to themselves, basically. As far as like what they casted out on us in the world. That's actually pretty deep. That's actually a pretty deep message. I don't think niggas really caught that, honestly, in the movie.
Curious to hear what you think they symbolize. The Deer Hunter connection. Few critics caught it at the time, but Dead Presidents was intentionally structured as a response to The Deer Hunter, Michael Cimino's 1978 Oscar-winning film about white working-class soldiers.
I actually saw that fucking movie. That actually was a good movie. My nigga, shouts to Christopher Walken. He was in that movie. He actually ended up killing himself. The whole situation with niggas coming back from the army and PTSD back then is crazy because a lot of people didn't think about that. This movie also speaks on that also. I didn't like how his wife was treating him and shit like that because at the end of the day, she didn't understand what it was like for him to come back from the army. And at that time, nobody knew anything about PTSD or anything about like shock and all that thing and traumas and things like that. And they seeing bodies after bodies after bodies being dropped on top of bodies at this time. The Vietnam War was no joke. World War II no joke. Niggas be thinking shit is sweet out here in the street, but like to be in the army is a whole nother story. It's a whole nother level of violence. It's a whole nother level of shit that you gotta see. You're not seeing tanks rolling through this bitch in the streets at the end of the day. You feel me? Or the night. you not seeing niggas with rocket launchers too much. You might see some niggas every now and again with a rocket launcher. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I done seen some shit. I done seen some shit on some documentaries. But another thing is too, like, it's two tales to this movie, and it's two tales to like that part of society for motherfuckers. As far as like when they come back home and deal with these things, America never really properly treats their veterans correctly in my eyes. Like, that's why I keep anti-combating all that gay shit, because they putting all this money into all of these programs about like being anti-America so much and all this other bullshit that we not really realizing what we doing to our damn selves and our own people. We throwing them out. Like, they not defending us every day. Like, they not making sure we not free every fucking day.
Brothers studied Cimino's film extensively, adapting its 3-act structure but reframing it through a black urban experience. We wanted to do for black veterans what The Deer Hunter did for white ones, Albert Hughes explained. While The Deer Hunter won 5 Oscars, Dead Presidents was overlooked, a disparity that itself speaks volumes about Hollywood's valuation of these parallel stories. I read The Lost Ending. The film you saw in theaters was not the film the Hughes brothers originally made. Disney, yes, Disney, through their Hollywood Pictures division, forced the brothers to cut nearly 20 minutes from their original cut, primarily from the film's final act. The extended ending showed Anthony's complete psychological deterioration in prison, including hallucinations where he repeatedly relived the Vietnam and heist experiences. Test audiences found these scenes so disturbing that Disney executives demanded they be removed. They told us it was too dark, that audiences wouldn't sit through a 2.5-hour tragedy, Alan Hughes revealed. But that was the whole point.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. First of all, bitch, Disney, these bitch ass niggas in motherfucking Disney, how y'all gonna say that and y'all was raping kids and shit like that, nigga? Fuck all of that. This is the craziest shit ever I heard in my life. They let the Deer Hunter go through, but they ain't let that shit go through. They showed everything with the Deer Hunter. I mean, I saw everything with the Deer Hunter. I saw everything that them niggas went through mentally and just all the things that they did to handle that mental problem. All of these niggas handled it differently. Somebody committed suicide and things like that. They show all of that shit. How the fuck? And then they show motherfucking Chris Tucker with a needle in his fucking arm dead on the couch. That's okay. And what the fuck is this? What I be talking about? Disney and them be involved in all of this shit and people don't even be fucking noticing. They be involved in some real serious ass projects and movies, bro.
How these men were abandoned by the country they served. This lost footage has never been released, not even on special edition DVDs or streaming versions. Aging through trauma. Look closely at Lawrence Tate's face when he returns from Vietnam. The subtle transformation is a masterclass in minimal makeup effects. Rather than using heavy prosthetics, the makeup team focused on subtle details, slightly hollowing his cheeks, darkening under his eyes, adding almost imperceptible stress lines. We didn't want him to look different. We wanted him to look worn, the film's makeup designer explained. Veterans don't come home with different faces. They come home with the same face carrying invisible weight. What makes this remarkable is that Tate was only 20 years old during filming, portraying both the teenage Anthony and the war-hardened veteran. If you love primetime throwback, guerrilla, filmmaking, the chaotic bank heist scene that forms the film's centerpiece wasn't just depicting urban chaos. It was filmed in actual chaos. Parts of the robbery sequence were shot guerrilla style in Harlem, with extremely limited permits, meaning many bystanders had no idea a movie was being filmed. When Anthony and his crew flee through the streets, many of the shocked expressions you see on bystanders' faces are genuine reactions from people who suddenly found themselves in the middle of what appeared to be armed men in white face masks running from police. We had about 15 minutes to get some of those shots before the real police would show up asking questions, Albert Hughes later admitted. It adds this layer of authentic panic that you can't.
That's actually some artistic shit, because real talk, well, he about to say the shit anyway, but real talk, he actually got the actual excitement and the fucking visual of what he was trying to get. He didn't pay nobody for that shit. You can't pay for that shit. Even when you be in the booth and you rapping or whatever you doing, you can't pay for that raw image, that raw take in that one moment when niggas is surprised and shocked and don't know what the fuck is really going on. Or even with you don't know how you gonna go in the booth and you gonna rap it or sing it or whatever you gonna do. But when you hit the court, you just know you finna do what you finna do and you just test it the fuck up because you was just in that mode, because you saw something that somebody else didn't see. And that's actually a very perceptive ass part of the movie. I fuck with this.
The music battle and hidden imagery. One of the film's most powerful moments, when Anthony returns home and Al Green's Tired of Being Alone plays, almost didn't make the final cut. The Hughes brothers fought a prolonged battle with music rights holders who balked at the licensing cost. That song wasn't just background music, it was practically a character in the film, Alan Hughes recalled. The brothers ultimately won the battle by cutting costs elsewhere, personally giving up a portion of their fee to secure the rights. Did you catch the hidden visual echo throughout the film? The "Black Man Go Home" propaganda posters from Vietnam mysteriously reappear in the background of 3 critical scenes after Anthony returns to America, a subtle reminder that he never truly escaped the war. The controversy. When Dead Presidents was released, it faced criticism from actual Black Vietnam veterans. Several veterans groups publicly criticized the film for what they saw as perpetuating stereotypes about Black veterans turning to crime. Kirkland himself, whose life inspired the story, defended the film. It reflects a lot of brothers' reality, even if it's painful to admit. Not everyone's story, but many of us face those impossible choices. Chris Tucker's hidden genius. Before he became a global superstar in Rush Hour, Chris Tucker delivered one of his most nuanced performances as Skip, Anthony's friend who returns from Vietnam with a devastating heroin addiction. What few people realize is how much of Skip's character was actually Tucker's own creation. Fresh off Friday, Tucker was given unusual freedom to improvise on set. Many of Skip's most memorable lines and mannerisms weren't in the original script, but were created on the spot by Tucker. His improvised line, "I was born by the expletive, I'll die by the expletive," became one of the film's most quoted moments. In the decades since its release, Dead Presidents has been reassessed as more than just a heist film. It's now recognized.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, he ain't say enough about that. I can't flex. Chris Tucker did his shit with that role. Actually, I fuck with that movie specifically because of him, not even just because of Lorenz Tate, because that was my first time really seeing a comedian really do a powerful role and actually nail that shit. Like Martin did his shit with The Thin Line Between Love and Hate, but it was still funny. Like with Chris Tucker shit, it was kind of funny, but it was really not fucking funny at all. The more you watch him deteriorate and all that throughout the movie, the more you start to see him turn to drugs, things like that. People need to understand these things were actually happening. So I don't understand why the fuck veterans was acting like that, because at the end of the day, these things were actually happening. Niggas was coming back turning to drugs. Niggas was coming back robbing shit. Niggas was coming back tweaking out because these things was happening to them mentally. They might not have all been going through that, but shit, you should talk about the niggas who went through it so they got some way to know that it was a voice out there, that they had somebody that they could relate to, or a moment in time where they knew they wasn't fucking alone and feeling like this.
One of the most powerful examinations of the Black veteran experience ever committed to film. If this dive uncovered stories you never knew, hit that subscribe button and join the prime time.
I fuck with this because I really didn't know about the whiteface shit. I really didn't think about that at the time. Nor would I have thought about that today until he said something like that. So basically, instead of blackface, they using a racial way of using whiteface. So basically, just transforming what blackface was. So y'all want us to act a certain way, we're gonna look a certain way type shit. But the thing is, what people should really take away from the movie was that man lost a lot from his life by going over there and fighting that battle. He came back home and didn't have no money in his pocket, couldn't get a job. It was hard for him to even really make a living for himself. Same thing happened to Jesse Owens, who was in the Olympics, my nigga. Like, a lot of men go through a lot of things and people be having all of this weight on their shoulders and not realizing it. Like they just said, they didn't want the character to look old, they want him to look worn. So it's like, they want him to look tired, they want him to look groggy, they want him to look all, you feel me, he's all fucked up. Because it's like, in reality, we might be aging during the time frame of us aging to change into like elderly stages. We really just becoming like how people look younger than what they is. Like those are the people who really like, they don't carry that weight on them no more. So when niggas be looking all tired and shit like that, and you start seeing all that stress on them, those are the people that are carrying that shit. And those are the reasons why they looking like that. And we don't realize what the fuck veterans be carrying when they come over here. We gotta understand there's a weight on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? People really act like these people ain't risking their lives. Fuck a police officer. I mean, you feel me? They risking their life too, but shit, these niggas is really out there. Police get more respect than these niggas. But I see a lot of homeless veterans. People don't show no respect to veterans. I was actually glad that I seen this shit because this was something I actually wanted to do, because it's simple fact, I wanted to speak on the veteran situation. America is really like real bitchy towards the motherfuckers that really protect them and make sure that we secure and good. Even with the border situation, motherfuckers is mad about motherfuckers making sure motherfuckers don't get into our country. Bro, you go to another motherfucking country, what you need? Your passport. But also, what you need to stay there? A green card. Stop being a bitch and listening to dumb shit and actually pay attention to what's going on, because you gonna understand why you not getting where the fuck you need to be. And why we steady getting cheated out the system ain't because of white people, it's because of us people. We keep fucking around like this. Fuck all of that. We need to start actually becoming a people in America, bro, and just supporting the fact that, you feel me, we need to start taking better care of our fucking veterans. Like dead ass, black or white. I see more white people respecting veterans than I ever see black people. I don't see black people showing no respect to veterans. All through that movie they did hang posters and shit saying, you know, he wasn't supposed to be doing that shit, like going to the army and shit. It was taboo at the time, which is true. Cause look how he got treated when he got back. Them crackers ain't ain't proved no other point at the time. I'm calling them crackers because this is the time frame they was in, but shit, white folks ain't proved no other point to him by him coming home like that. A lot of these niggas, they got won medals and all that, got medals and shit from the army. Come back to wash a car, white men get to become a judge at that time. Right now, we don't have them same color lines, but we still do got color lines on certain things. But right now, we could fight through them more than we could before. But that's why I be saying what I be saying. Niggas got to get off their ass and start being more what they is. Stop playing around, bro. Understand where we come from and who we are at the end of the day. Like, it ain't even really just about being black, but when I speak on blacks, you got to understand we come from some real shit. So stop just looking at certain shit as being like what's real and what's not, because real shit, a man is taking care of his fucking family, and that man was doing everything he could to sustain a life for his family, but it was just hard on him when he came back home. It was a lie. But y'all let me know what the fuck y'all think in the comments, you feel me? Because even still, he was still a young nigga. Y'all let me know if y'all fuck with this. It's one of my first little movie reactions, so shit, y'all let me know what's up. I'm out, peace.
Yeah, hey, you gotta know your purpose, understand what worth is. These snakes is lurking, observing, trying to close your curtains.